when I started my own company, I started very much in that kind of not old guard model, but with the brick and mortar and with, that kind of, oh, we have to have an office kind of mentality. And what I noticed over a few years is my agents, and I think a lot of it is COVID, we just shifted the way we do business during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, people used to go to an office to work. And then during that whole thing, so many people just became used to not visiting an office. So as years progressed, I was the only one using the office 90% of the time,
Yeah.
except for like a training. Clients very rarely come to the office anymore. You're usually meeting at a property. The days of your client really riding with you in your car are kind of gone. Like most agents I know for safety and insurance purposes won't put a client in their car.
I do not.
Yeah, I don't. Plus I like my peace. But anyways,
True.
so it was something that I had to look at from like dollars and cents. Like, okay, my rent on this building is over $7,000 a month. What can I provide with that same $7,000 a month? So for me, we did kind of switch a little bit to more of a hybrid sort of situation because, I mean, all of our programs are cloud-based.
Mm-hmm.
So, transaction management, our CRM, everything you can access wherever you're at, which I think is what most people have now.
Right.
But we still do get together several times a month for in-person trainings and things like that. So I think that is valuable, that we still connect and see each other's
Yes.
faces. And even if we're not doing a training one week, maybe we're doing just a happy hour to personally connect with each other. Like, what is going on with you in your life? Not like a rah, like, here's what we did as a company and here's who the top producer was this week and, whatever. But like really knowing who people are. And I think some people, whether it's from COVID or just generally feeling like they're less seen now
Mm-hmm.
as individuals, I think some people need that. Like they don't want to just be one of a bajillion in like this
Sure.
cloud-based arena watching somebody speak. They want to be like seen and have somebody know who they are.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's something for everybody. And I think that more and more of these old guard brick and mortar companies are going to figure out that overhead from the brick and mortar, even if they're charging their agents for offices, is going to become less and less used.
Yeah.
So I look for like KW to offer more of an online
Presence.
experience soon. And like Compass is already doing it. They don't have a ton of offices, like an
Mhm.
overabundance of offices. But I think some of these other companies thought they had to have so much more like presence going down the street.
Yeah.
And it's just not needed now.
I mean, I think the other thing that's becoming more and more popular, and it was very popular in DC, where I'm from, and I'm glad that it's coming this direction because I do think it gives you that that internal buzz, is co-working spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I will often not work I often work really well in silence, but sometimes it's that like external buzz that just kind of helps me like refocus. I can put my earbuds in and it's just, I can look up and people watch as opposed to staring at a white wall.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about co-working spaces or working offsite or whatever is what you hear. So you don't realize how less your pulse is on the world around you or what's going on unless you're actually in it listening to other people's eavesdropping.
Yeah.
But
yeah, let's just call it what it is.
yeah, just call a spade a spade. But co-working is to me a comfortable environment.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of being around a lot of other professionals in other professions, hearing them interact, seeing what they're doing. And you get to know the businesses that are coming to your area too that don't need a traditional
Mm-hmm.
office. They just need a space to set a computer. But there's a couple in Waco, and it's really interesting what they've got and how it's functioning. And they do other things. Like most of the co-working spaces have like happy hours and they have coffee hours and they bring in speakers and like they have, these big conferences that you can attend and it's a benefit to the member.
Mhm.
And, I think that those kinds of spaces also produce that creativity and get people kind of thinking outside of the box of cold calling and
Mhm.
realtor and Zillow leads and, all whatever we're supposed to be doing for prospecting.
Right.
Like it gets your mind kind of being like, oh, maybe I do want to get involved in that or I do want to see more of that. So it's interesting because there's so much about where you live that you're missing out on by boxing yourself into going to the same exact place every single
Well,
day.
and I think, I really think that it also depends on your personality, what will work for you. I think if you're not creative and if you're not particularly self motivated, joining any cloud based brokerage is like the worst thing you can do
Yeah.
because it is so easy to say, oh, I'm not going to log in today. Oh, I know they're having this training, but I'm not going to log in versus having like an in person accountability partner that's like, hey, why weren't you at the meeting today?
Yeah.
Like, that kind of thing. I think there's so many people that just don't have the follow through to really thrive in that kind of business because already real estate is hard because we don't really have a boss.
Mhm.
We don't have anybody telling us, okay, these are your working hours, here's where you have to be, and these are your tasks. So already for a lot of personalities, it's really easy to get lost in that. Well, I don't have anything immediately pressing, so I'm going to watch this show. And then it's like
You've
by the
been
time they look
watched.
up, it's, 3 p.m. and they've watched a whole season of, The Housewives or something.
Yeah.
So I think that having the self-awareness to know what kind of environment you really need to either motivate you or keep you task driven is really important because I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people that are going to be caught up in the tech kind of based businesses because they do sell you we are the way of the future, and I get for a lot of people they are, but especially when you're new, you're gonna need
You need somebody.
somebody that you see their face, not
Yeah.
their avatar, but like you see their face, they're in your state, they're in your city, they're in the arena that you're in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, even if, some of these brokerages have brokers that are centrally located, like in Austin. Austin is not the same market as New Braunfels or
Mm-mm.
Waco. So if you are calling that broker and you really need some like good advice, they don't know your market.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know the players that you're talking about. So I just feel like while you're learning, you really need a place that will facilitate that and like hold your hand and be there to mentor. I mean, I have agents come to my home and sit in my home office because I've got it set up with multiple computers to where I can walk them through things at the same time they're doing it. I'm doing it at the same time so they can see it and like touch it, feel it, know it, as
Right.
opposed to, just, okay, well, can you make an appointment with cloud support? And then, next Tuesday at 4:30, I'll address your problem that's happening right now.
Yeah. That's not helpful.
No, it's not. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I think that there's a place for everybody, which I think is great because the traditional brick and mortar model just didn't work for everybody. But I think that people really need to look at multiple brokerage types before just signing on to anyone based on their cap.
Right.
Like if your split is the only thing you're asking a recruiter or a broker about, like you're missing
Yeah. You're
half
missing.
of what you need to know about that company
Yeah.
that you're now aligning your name with.
Well, and I think it's valuable to ask for like, a shadow day. Like if there's an agent
Yeah.
that you like there or something, like shadow them and see what they're doing in the day, if that's something, or half a day or at an appointment or whatever it may
If you're
be.
new, you should shadow as many different people and personalities as you can
It's just,
because you're going to need to be able to craft your own like presentation style. And some of that may be melded from like 5
hmm
other people. And if you never go watch, then you're never going to know. You're going to be one that relies on a script
hmm
and you sound the
like a
same.
robot.
Yeah, you give the same robot presentation and you lose.
Yeah. I don't think either model is wrong. I just think that I think that people need to do their research and understand what they're signing when they sign up for whatever, whether it be
Mhm.
traditional or whether it be cloud. I think that they need to be reading what they're having them sign up for, because unless you're a smaller brokerage, in my opinion, that takes the time to go through an ICA or their PMP with these people. Otherwise, it's just a stack of papers that they put in front of you,
Mhm.
or, a DocuSign where it's
Sign
so
here and we'll
easy.
order your first business cards.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. And, they give you all the swag with
Right.
you get your whatever, your cup and whatever you get, but which is all, great and warm and fuzzy and fantastic. But you need to understand what you're signing. You need to understand what you're
Mhm.
signing up for, and what it all means. And how that's going to grow your business.
Mhm.
One of the big things that every brokerage throws in your face is leads. We'll give you leads. We'll give you leads. Okay, but
But what
how?
about teaching you to fish?
Yeah,
Like, are they gonna teach you how to get leads on your own?
most likely not.
I
They
mean,
say
it
they
just
do, but we've talked about that.
yeah.
Um, but often a lot of them will say, they either buy Realtor or Zillow leads, they have the phone leads, they have their website leads.
Mhm.
They'll sign up for all these referral companies, and then they'll charge you on top of your commission that
Mhm.
referral fee so the brokerage doesn't take a hit. Those are the questions you need to be asking. And it's not just where do you get your leads from? Can you break down where you get your leads from and what the ROI is that the company says you should be getting versus what the brokerage is actually
Mhm.
getting? And can you tell me how many of those leads in a year you have gotten, and can you break that down by quarter?
Right.
I mean, if they
And
can't,
can you tell me how those leads are dispersed?
yeah, if you
Like,
can't
are
figure
there
that,
metrics on who you give the leads to? Are there classes that have to be attended
yeah,
in
like,
order to be eligible to get leads?
do I
Like,
have to hit a certain
right.
dollar amount? Is it that I have to do something in particular? Because if a brokerage can't provide you those
Mhm.
numbers, then they're not tracking it. They don't have a freaking clue what their ROI is. And
Mhm.
that's just bad business. Like,
Right.
I know where my leads are coming from. I know where Justin's leads are coming from. And we track that. So we know how to shift ourselves and being like, oh, this is working for us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go forward, my friend. Like,
Well, and I think brokerages don't, as a whole level, like a big box brokerage is not going to invest in like Zillow leads and pass them along the whole brokerage. Zillow
no.
leads really aren't meant to be passed along, 100 people. Most Zillow plans are only meant for like 4 to 8 different agents to
Hmm.
get. So, it's not something that most brokerages even invest in at that top level. Like teams may
Yeah.
do leads and pass them out that way, but most brokerages don't. And I'll tell you why is because it is the biggest nightmare for a brokerage owner.
Hmm.
Um, I've done it and it is so frustrating.
To track when they
Well,
drop them.
not even to track, but to see the drops.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, you just didn't want to answer your phone. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because I mean, even though I'm a producing broker, I took myself out of that.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating for me to see, because I mean, I can hear the recordings, I can all the things of how that call went. And I'm just like, so I get that. Plus, I mean, for brokers, so many of the big ones know that in any given year, they're going to lose X amount of agents to other
Mm-hmm.
companies or whatever. So they're not going to invest that kind of dollar
No.
amount. They may give organic leads from the website, but they're going to be minimal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they can't tell you the conversion rates on them or how many people they get clicking unsubscribe on their stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think that them teaching you and having classes specifically on lead generation and how to get leads yourself is so much more valuable.
Well, and I think social media,
Yeah.
training is going to be a big thing, and not just the basics anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people need to understand the analytics that are, and I think in 2023 that's going to be a continuing booming effect for our industry. Facebook in general is still technically the leader as far as like consumer business for real estate,
Mm-hmm.
but Instagram and TikTok are not far behind.
Yeah.
And people like you and I who has started our just our property marketing on video makes it so much easier. And I mean, not that I'm perfect, because I've definitely the end of middle end of 2022 definitely took my social media definitely took a hit on my part. Like it was,
Mm-hmm.
I stepped back for a hot second because there was other external things going on that I was like shuffling.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were living like parallel lives at that point. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there was so much going on that like creating reels and videos
And trying to be
and
happy on camera
trying
and
to, yeah, and like, trying,
looking like I have my life together when it's
right, like when
Hindenburg just went off.
yeah, I'm just, mentally I was like, I need to refocus because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be really present and I want to really be that person. So, I think that kind of training and being able to make people understand the power of social media ads and when to do them and how they're useful and,
Mm-hmm.
do they show metrics for sellers and buyers and whatever. I think all of that is going to be really, really important. And I think that's going to be a valuable thing for, um, any agency, whether you be brick and mortar or not. And my fear is that it'll be that Kool-Aid effect
Mm-hmm.
where it's like they're only going to teach it in one direction, where I feel like it needs to be outside experts coming in to
Well,
teach it
and I feel like you can always tell when a brokerage has just had a class
because they're all doing
because
it.
they're all very motivated that next week. And
Mhm.
you see all their agents doing the exact same thing for about a week to maybe 3 before they die off.
Mhm.
And so, you always see it, but I think that it's really important that people identify who they want to be on social media
Yes.
and like what their value is on social media. Can they educate anybody about a certain thing? Or is their value really just going to be follow along while I walk through a pretty house?
Yeah.
Like, where is your value? And having to understand that somebody else's perception is their reality.
Yeah.
So if they're perceiving this about you, that is what's real to them.
Right.
And so, are you taking that into account? Are you showing who you really are? Because the last thing you want is somebody's, calling you and you're like, great, this person found me on social media, didn't really cost me anything, it was organic, and I'm going to get this client out of it. And then they meet you in person and they're like, you're nothing like
Yeah. Be your authentic
what I
self.
thought, so that's hard. If you're going to do video on social media, be your real self,
Mhm.
because otherwise, eventually somebody's going to be like, oh, it's kind of like the business cards with the 80s glamour shot. Like
Yes.
they meet you in person and they're still looking for you in the Starbucks
Yeah.
because you look so different on your
Yeah.
card kind of thing. So I think that kind of getting over the, well, I don't sound good on video and I don't look good on video and I don't like the way, my face moves or whatever. Nobody cares, and that's what you look like.
Yeah.
Like, so you might as well get over it and do the best for your client by doing it. I mean, I know, again, in that comment thread, sorry, I'm not out here blowing up on social media or whatever she said in her first one. Did you catch that comment? Like, I'm not blowing up on social media anyway, but I do get quite a bit of business from it. So
Yeah.
thank you. Bye.
Yeah. And I just think it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's different because the way that you and I do our social media is not just like active, under contract, sold, active,
Mhm.
under contract, sold, like fucking shampoo, rinse and repeat. Like we have our podcast on there. We have tips and
Yeah.
tricks on there. We have
Mom drama.
You
Yeah.
going out to like, when you go out to your businesses and you talk about, what they're doing and stuff like that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a variety and it's entertaining. It's not just, you're not just one thing. And
Mhm.
I think that's what's interesting and that's what keeps people engaged. And I think that's really what it's all about. You have to
Well,
show
letting
more
people know
facets.
you're human and you do this.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I'm a mom and I'm a this and I'm this. And by the way, I also do real estate.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
professionally.
yeah, I mean, I think people see, like, one of the things that many people laugh at until they meet him is that my youngest, I tell everybody he's feral. And he is. Like, he's a COVID baby. Like,
Mhm.
he is feral. Like, he is he is sweet, but he is crazy. And
But in a good way.
in a good
In a
way,
good
but he's
way.
he's a piece of work. I mean, his pre-K teacher literally asked me if I really thought he was ready for school, and I was like, "I'd be fine." Like,
It'll be fine. I wish you well.
yeah,
I'll buy you your Amazon wish list now.
yeah, like,
Just keep my kid. I've
yeah.
got things to do.
And he's come a long way, and but that's what makes people like relatable because I have two young kids, and so often my kids are with me, like if it's
Mhm.
after school hours or like during this long break. Like, I mean, I already made a post like, sorry if you hear my kid tell me they have to poop in the background, because that's my life right now. Like,
Mhm.
I have mad respect for parents that during COVID worked in a home office with kids and
Oh, no.
all
Yeah.
of that stuff. Like, I had the ability to still go to work every day, and it is challenging to work from your house with two little kids. And often because of Will's work, I'm by myself.
Mhm.
And so managing that, and the snacks and the lunch, and remembering that they still need my attention, and oh, by the way, James needs to read for 15 minutes every day, and all the things. Plus, I'm trying to make calls and try and sound
Mhm.
professional, and my kids are screaming in the
Mom,
background.
can you open this? Can you
Yeah.
open this?
Or they're screaming about hitting each other with swords or whatever it is. It's like, I just want to rip my hair out. And
Mhm.
so people see that authentic side of me, and they're way more forgiving when I'm at a showing, because I will literally walk into a showing, and people have said like that I'm rough, because like I will walk into a showing and I will tell them, you sit down, you play your tablet, you do not speak to me. Because at that moment, it's like my brain is, I'm being professional. Yes, you're
Right.
here, but I'm in professional mode. Like, my client is my priority. You're my priority in the car. I will give you 50,000 snacks.
Mhm.
I will sing ABCs and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And then we get to the next place, and it's sit down, play your tablet, don't speak to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You know the drill.
but my clients are so forgiving when it comes to that, because they know that's who I am, and they
Mhm.
see that I'm like, I'm working double hard, like at that point, because I'm trying to manage two completely different mindsets at that point. And I think there is just a different level of respect that I have for parents that have their kids with them and they're working all at the same time. I just,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's,
It's the hardest. I mean, it's like taking two difficult jobs and stacking them on top of each other.
yeah,
And then when you get to go home, you still get two jobs, because then you're a wife and mom
yeah.
and chef and maid and,
And the laundromat,
yeah,
and
exactly. You're all the
the
things. So
dog
there's
feeder,
not
and
really like a break ever
no.
in any one job. I mean, ever. And I think that's what's interesting about kind of video taking over as, the advertising method, and not even advertising, but just in general. Like if you look at some of the people that go viral on like TikTok or Instagram, it's not the polished professionals like,
No.
here I am in stilettos showing homes. It's the one that looks like the hot ass mess who's barely hanging on by a thread, no makeup, hair's a mess. And that's who people identify with. And
Yeah.
that's who they're able to grow like cult followings
Mhm.
because they're not perfect. And I
Mhm.
think that you see it more in like our age bracket. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of the young ones are still like all Alex Earl, and she's beautiful, but like she goes to college. It's not like real world
Yeah.
stuff yet. Um, but like our age group, I feel like I identify more with the moms
Mhm.
and, women in business, even if they're not moms, that, maybe they're in a relationship or married, and they're just hanging on to that little bit of patience that they
Yeah.
woke up with that day.
Yeah.
And,
Totally.
those are the people that I want to work with, because I know they're the ones that I'll be able to laugh with, identify with, will shoot me straight, and vice versa, and like not get their feelings hurt because they're in this generation that was never told no and was told how perfect they are
Yeah.
all the time, like
It's made it more relational. Like,
yeah,
I
you
can
figure out who
relate.
your people are.
Yeah,
And I
and
think that that's such a huge part of our business anyway.
you don't feel as alone. Like, I
Mhm.
will say, like, I don't know, I mean, I don't know 99% of the people that I follow on TikTok. Like, I don't know,
No.
but like, there's something about them that I felt like I could relate to or
Mhm.
learn from, and that's
Yeah.
why I follow them. And so
Or
I
just made me laugh.
yeah. Oh,
Like I'm
yeah.
like, okay, today on this given day, I feel like I have my shit a little more together because I watched that video and
Yeah.
at least my Roomba didn't go through a pile of crap this morning and then all over my house.
Yeah.
So compared to that lady's
Yeah.
morning, like my whatever shit show I had is just fine.
Yeah. I mean, one of the creators that I absolutely like adore watching because she makes me laugh. Like, I mean, because it's like going back to having a sense of humor. Like, I also sometimes have like a very like, I sometimes take that joke one step too far,
Yeah,
kind of
same.
like whether it's like dark or whether it's
Mhm.
like, kind of inappropriate or whatever. I'm often that like person. Like, that's sort of why I had guy friends when I was growing up and not
That's
female
why we're
friends.
friends.
Yeah, like I like, I mean, I can hang.
Mhm.
But the Scary Savage Mama, she gets tagged in a lot of posts, and that's like, and it's really, she's reading comments and stuff like that, but she makes me laugh so hard because it's just like you can relate to her. Like,
Mhm.
you can relate to her humor, you can relate to when she's being like when she's feeling like a hot mess. I know she's recently kind of started a podcast and she's interviewing all sorts of different creators, but like, it's an outlet, and it's like you can relate and you're like,
Mhm.
man, all of a sudden I don't feel alone. Like,
Right.
I feel like I'm seen, I'm heard, I'm not alone. Like,
Mhm.
I have a group of mom friends that we always text each other back and forth, and we'll send all these, TikTok videos and stuff back and forth. And it's like nothing could be more true than some of these like videos
Yeah.
that come
You're
through.
like, I just wasn't brave enough to put it out there like she
Right.
was.
Right. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever it is, whether it be kid humor or like husband
Mhm.
wife humor or whatever, but it's like so much of what people are putting out there, especially about like husband wife relationships. It's so true. Like,
Right.
it's just funny to me, and I want people to be able to relate to me on that level too, cuz it breaks down that initial wall. Like, there doesn't have to be an icebreaker with that weird small talk like, "Oh, how are you? Like, what's your intent to me?" blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Like, they just kind of know you, and they're like, "Oh, like, that was so funny what you posted the other day." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and I mean, everybody wants to do business with their friends and
Mhm.
people they like.
Yeah.
So if you can bridge that gap by having somebody either one decide they don't like you so they don't bother to call you and don't make your life miserable, or two decide, hey, she feels like more of a friend, let me call her, like, that kind of thing. Yeah, it gets rid of that initial barrier.
Yeah.
Like, there's already familiarity. You know that I'm not gonna take everything 100% serious in my
Yeah.
life. You know that if you drop an F-bomb, I'm not gonna judge you, I might high five you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not this stuck-up kind of personality. If you watch this podcast that I don't like hugs.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Things like that. Like, let's get
100%.
these things out of the way now.
Yeah.
So that, we don't have that awkward, like, are we not kind of moment, like,
Yeah.
because I'm internally cringing when that happens. Like, it's happening.
Yeah.
So, it helps get a lot of the small talk out of the way.
Yeah.
And
It
then you
does.
can get down to like business of what we're doing and, do you really want to sell or is it a good time for you? All the real important conversations that have to be had. I will say I'm kind of confused by what algorithm I'm on social media right now. Is yours consumed by sister wives?
No, but all of a sudden I have started to get some Sister Wives stuff in there.
I've never in my life
I've
watched
never
that
watched
show.
it. I didn't even know the family broke up until I saw like
Yeah,
some.
apparently he managed to lose 3 wives in a year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, that's impressive
And
that
there's
you're that
one
big of a
and there's
narcissist that you can
well, he's married to 3 people, so or 5 people.
4.
4 or 5. But then there's the one that's like The Shining, like he treated better than everybody else supposedly. I
I
don't
don't know.
I don't know. I just started to get on
Oh,
that.
I think I'm on Sister Wives TikTok. Like, every 4th video is somebody recapping an episode, and all I can think of is this guy was able to convince 4 women to marry him?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this guy? Really? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
it's like a
interesting.
walking packet of ramen noodles and then like the biggest douchebag ever. And I'm like,
He's very, very not attractive.
well, I mean,
I
usually you can find one person dumb enough, but four?
yeah.
And like when you watch these women, they're not unintelligent. I mean, like
Mm-mm.
some of them are less than others, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I could not.
No,
Could not.
I'm currently on royalty TikTok.
Oh no, I'm not
I've
on that one, thank God, because
I'm
I
on I'm on
can't
yeah, I'm on
with
royalty
them.
TikTok between, Harry and Meghan versus
Will and
Will
Kate.
and Kate, and then, Kate's Amazon fashion, people who copy her fashion for Amazon finds. So I'm deep into that.
Oh, how's that working out?
I do appreciate the fashion update.
Yeah.
I do like Kate's fashion. I do think it's
Doesn't she
classy.
still wear pantyhose all the time?
They have to.
Why?
It's one of the royal things. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go and wear a whole bunch of tights, but I do
No.
like in general her very classic
Yeah,
fashion.
no, I do
She's
too.
very classy, very chic. I do
Yeah.
appreciate that. But this in general, a lot of the I'm on royalty TikTok, I would say, and I'm not quite sure how I got on that. It's not like I searched.
No.
I really am not sure where the algorithms come from and how, because I'm not.
Mm-mm.
I do a lot of swiping, like I do a lot of hearting and a lot of swiping. But I don't do a lot of commenting
Yeah.
on TikTok. It has to be something I feel very passionate about or I have a question about. But
Yeah, I don't do a lot of commenting unless it's like real estate specific or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think I did like a video comment to one the other day, and it was the one about she was frustrated because her client called her specifically to ask if she was going to bring him a Christmas gift. And, like it's a thing in our industry where it's a self-inflicted thing in our industry that we've decided that we have to like buy our clients.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we're a service provider like any other professional service provider. We get paid when we do what we were hired to do.
Right.
So your attorney doesn't give you gifts, your CPA doesn't give you gifts, my dentist doesn't give me gifts. Like none of these professionals, my photographer doesn't give me gifts. Like why are we the one like profession that's expected to
Constantly.
give a gift or a pop by or this? Like we're constantly supposed to be buying this stuff.
I don't know.
And I'm done with it. Like, just done. Like,
Yeah.
you hire me for a service. And that's not to say, because there's a ton of times when, you know how it is. People will disagree about something small in the contract, and to save a deal, you're like, I'll pay it.
Yeah.
Just get it done. That survey that now neither
That
one of
gate.
you want to pay with, it's on me.
It's
You want to double the home warranty? Fine. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But,
The damn gate.
hmm?
The damn gate.
Oh, yeah. You want my husband to build you a brand new welded electric gate from scratch. Oh, and put the gate opener back on because you took the other one off. Perfect.
For the property that you literally could walk for safety and privacy, but you could walk
Yeah.
5 feet and walk around because there's an ag
Yeah.
exemption.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't think clients or the public at large realizes that we do financially to make deals work. And
Yeah.
that's, outside of like listing photography at $1,000 a pop out of pocket before we even start working. If you
Mhm.
have a website built just for that property, that's a
Mhm.
dollar amount. Like everything we do.
Getting it in the Wall Street Journal, getting it in Mansions Global, getting it
Yes.
getting it out there, getting your media kit done.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's an if. We only get paid on that if the property sells.
we're $2
So,
grand in
like-
before we start.
Yeah, exactly. Before the sign ever hits the yard, I've already invested money in this. And I don't think people understand. If we were like a lot of other professions, like an attorney, could you imagine what we would make if we billed per phone call, per text message, per site visit, per hour of time we spend on any given transaction, after hours timing, like all the things?
Yeah.
It would be insane
Mm-hmm.
because every agent has had that client that feels like they need to make 20 phone calls a week to you just to be told there's nothing new going on. We're in escrow.
Yeah.
Like, here's where we're at. Just like I told you in the monthly or the Monday update email, this is where we're at. You're not going to hear a lot,
Yeah.
but you still get the phone calls all the time. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this. What do you think about curtains on this window? Like, what do you think about waiting until the deal closes before you plan your curtains?
Mm-hmm.
Because things can still happen.
Yeah.
You know, like I just think that we say we're professionals and we want to be treated as a professional industry, and then we don't treat ourselves that way.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think it's like, I think for my dentist and I think from my dog boarding place, I got Christmas cards from,
yeah,
which is,
a Christmas card, but
yeah,
like I don't need to get you a new cutting board with your name on it for every holiday and
no,
event. And
no,
like every Valentine's Day, I need to drop off candy and I need to do this for everyone. Like, I, no, if you want to work with me, it's because I'm professional and I'm damn good at what I do.
right.
Like, if you want tchotchkes, then maybe go to somebody else. You might have a nightmare from hell transaction because they don't know exactly what they're doing, but they bought you, so here you are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think I'm so kind of turned off by that too. Like, and I'm very like that anyway. Like, I don't approach people in ways I don't like to be approached, and I don't like to feel like I'm being bought.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's part of it too, is it gives me the icks.
I get stuff from my clients when it makes me think of them.
Yeah, if
Like,
it's personalized and individual to
yeah,
them, but like if you're going to Costco and buying 50 pies to give everybody the same pie, is it really personal? Like, you
no,
didn't take into account that they have a nut allergy and they can't eat a pecan pie.
yeah,
You know, things like that. I think it's different if it's something that specifically made you think of that person
yeah,
and it's genuine. But so many of these things are just not.
right.
And I'm like, so why is it expected? Like, I don't even do Christmas cards anymore. Like, family Christmas
I'm
card,
terrible.
I'm
I'm so
awful.
terrible.
But I will say I did go through and text a lot of people Christmas
I did
Day
too.
and do that whole thing. But I mean, I don't even look at Christmas cards when they get mailed to me. So,
Yeah, I'm not
like,
great at that.
I suck at it. I'm not a mail person anymore.
No, and I mean, I guess for us, it's also like it's crazy to try and figure out Will's schedule and try and get a photographer and try and do all these things. Like, I'm not the family.
Mm-mm.
It's interesting to me because it's one of those cultural changes, cultural switches, right? So photography here and family photography and bridal portraits and all this stuff is very popular here.
Mm-hmm.
It is not where I'm from. Like, people did not take yearly
Well, and I
family
think too,
photos
now
and
it's because everybody wants to put their highlight reel on their social media.
well, yeah,
So
but
like every event through a engagement to a wedding is like a full on
Full on.
ordeal photo shoot because everybody thinks they're the next influencer
Yeah.
and wants their magic day,
I mean, don't get me wrong, any brand, if you want to send me something for free, I will surely try it.
oh God.
But I don't want to be an influencer for you.
I could just see myself getting like a huge monster rash or something with these leggings, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Just something will go wrong if I go down that route. So I'm just going to stay in my lane, not be an influencer
No,
and all of that.
It's
Like,
a lot. I mean,
just,
that's a lot of work. I will give them that. It's a lot of
yeah.
work.
And then you have to post like 4 posts with this thing. Well, what if you really hate it?
Yeah.
Like, my face does not allow me to lie like, oh, I love this lip gloss that's
Yeah.
now making my lips swell up and, I have to peel them off later.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably not the one a company wants to reach out to.
Reach out to you.
No, and I do find it funny on my Instagram, I always have like active apparel companies reaching out.
Yes, I do
And I'm
too.
like, what about me gives you the impression that I want a lot of active apparel? Like, do
I
I look like I'm running or exercising at all?
well, I get
Because,
that and I get jewelry.
yeah,
I get a
jewelry.
lot. I get a lot of jewelry, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't wear a lot of
No.
jewelry, like at all. Like, I wear my wedding bands.
Mm-hmm.
I may wear earrings,
I
if I
really only wear
remember.
them like on here.
Yeah, same.
If I'm
But
like,
I changed my necklace.
ooh,
that-
I'm so
I
dressed up
changed my
today.
necklace this morning because I literally been wearing that other necklace that I've been wearing for probably a year and a half. So I literally that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. If you want to consider my Apple Watch a
No,
piece of
that's
jewelry,
utilitarian.
but like I'm not a jewelry
No, me
person,
neither.
so it's fascinating. I'm like, what about me is showing you that I wear a lot of jewelry?
I don't know. I think it's just like a throw it at enough people and it'll stick
This little
thing. But
stick
I
thing,
would think that it would lose them money
I guess.
because if you're sending this stuff out to people,
And then they don't do what you've asked.
no, then what happens?
I don't know.
If you were an influencer, what is one product you wish somebody would send you?
Slippers. I love a good slipper. Feel like you can't go wrong with that.
Hmm.
It's easy. I just have to wear them around the house.
Yeah. I feel like the problem with slippers is some of them make your feet sweat, and I don't like that.
That's the thing, right? So like that, I would be like, I think that these make my feet sweat, and then I wouldn't have to wear them, but I would have slippers. I can wear socks with slippers.
Yeah, it's quite the look. Your husband's such a lucky man.
He is.
He knows what he was getting into.
Yeah, he knows.
I busted that out way before
Oh yeah,
before the marriage. He knew how bad it could
Yeah,
get.
he was well aware that the Hot Mess Express, like the second I get home, I'm like immediately walk upstairs. I could be in leggings and I will get home and go home and put on pajama pants. Like
Yeah.
if I'm not leaving for the rest of the night, I will immediately change into pajamas. Like
Yeah.
he's like, you were in comfortable clothes. And I'm like, but not enough. Like I'm not ready for bed. Like I need to
Right.
be ready for bed.
Yeah,
So when the kids
no.
go to bed, I'm like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Good
Last
night.
night, I think I went to bed at like 7:15 last night.
That's amazing. Sometimes that's what you're like, you really need
Well,
that.
It was just activity all through Christmas because my dad was in town and he stays at our house. So it's like, Christmas Eve we were up late, Christmas Day we were up late, and then the day after we had to go see Avatar. That's a 3.5-hour
Yeah, it's
movie.
long, I've heard. The first one was that long.
I know. We had to watch that during the day that day because
Oh.
I had never seen it because that's not really my genre.
Right.
Like, I'm the type where I have to watch things that I can imagine being a real possibility in life. Like, if I've never seen one of these avatar creatures in real life or a werewolf or a vampire or any of that, like, it's hard for me to, like,
Get into it.
get into that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like, I need,
Avatar was kind of just like Fern Gully, but like,
like, a grown-up Fern Gully.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I cannot. And I mean, I'll give it credit for what it is. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I liked the ride at Disney. I mean,
Yeah.
so there's that. But I was just exhausted. I told my husband last night, I go, I think my brain is just tired
Mm-hmm.
from everybody and like constant peopling for like a week. And before that, it was dealing with the grocery store and, Christmas shopping and all of that. I have to decompress.
Yeah.
And I did. I slept for almost 12 hours.
That's
It was
good.
fantastic.
It's a good reset before podcast day.
Yeah. Well, and today was the first day in a while I had to wake up early because
Same.
I was like, oh my God, I'm like actually setting an alarm
I know.
and all the things and having to plan an outfit in advance
Yeah.
it's never fun.
No, but we did it.
Yeah.
My
look at us, we're
babysitter-
so accomplished.
My babysitter got there this morning and I had like one side of like eyeshadow on and my hair was like up
Yeah.
in a towel and I was like, I'll get there. Like it's like
Yeah.
as long as I'm out the door by 8, I'll be okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. My big issue this morning was deciding, is it going to be a hair washing day or not?
It had to be for me.
It's just so much work. So
Well, you
it
have
was not.
extensions.
Yeah. So it was not. So that's why we are where we are with it. But
It looks nice.
I was like, I'm just not there. Like, I know I slept last night, but still not there. And I can promise on my way home, it will be up in a ponytail and out
Oh,
of my
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how fast a look will devolve
Oh,
once
totally.
you know you don't have to still look like that.
No,
Like, okay.
I don't have any client meetings
Yeah.
today. I'm
No,
like,
it's going to go downhill real fast
Yeah.
when we get in the car to go home. And
oh yeah.
that, and I think it might like flood or, a typhoon's gonna hit or something. I came all the way into Austin today, 0 traffic. I never stopped once on 35. Not one time, not a tap on the brakes, nothing. Cruise through. It was so weird. I videoed it. Like coming through downtown Austin,
Yeah, that's
there were
weird.
like 3 or 4 cars in front of me. It was strange. Like something is happening. I don't know if Armageddon's coming, but I feel like we're in a padded-ish kind of room, so we'll be safe. I don't know. Something, but
That's so odd.
yeah, it was very, very odd. But
I hit a little bit of traffic, but it was like right outside of Round Rock. But it wasn't even like traffic. It was just people like tapping their brakes for God
no
only knows what
reason.
reason.
But don't you feel like that's weird sometimes? Like if you get out on the road, and it happened all the time in COVID for a while,
Yes.
and you get out on the road and it's empty, and you're like, what is going
I think
on?
it's just that it's
Like
that Christmas travel, like no one's left yet.
everybody's still holed up in the airport trying to
Yeah.
get to where they're
God, so many
going.
canceled flights.
Yeah. And then their bags still manage to travel.
Yeah.
So I'm
Or
like,
not. Or not. Did you see
well,
the picture of the airport where they shut down a whole terminal pretty much because it's like all
all
covered,
bags.
all bags?
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think anytime I travel, like from now on, an AirTag will go in my luggage.
Yeah.
So I can see where my luggage is because,
Mhm.
like, Holly, that works for me, she was coming back from New Jersey. She had like 4 canceled flights, finally got on one the following day. Her luggage ended up all over the place, and she had taken her makeup bag out of it, and the makeup bag had the AirTag in it.
Oh,
So, of course, it had like every pair of jeans she can wear and like all these pairs of boots and everything else in it. And she's like freaking out, not knowing if she's going to get it. And she finally got it today. But I'm like, no, I don't do well with that kind of uncertainty. My
no.
personality does not thrive with things like that I
Yeah.
can't control.
The last time I went home to see my dad before he died, my flight kept getting canceled and canceled and canceled. And I had 2 kids. I was flying by myself with 2
Mhm.
kids. And it just kept getting canceled. And so, like, they tag them or whatever, so you can technically track them. But my bag didn't arrive until the next. Somehow it got put on
No,
like an
they can track them if they feel
Yeah.
like being helpful.
right. And so American Airlines, you can track your luggage on the app.
Mhm.
But they somehow it got put on an Amtrak train. So it got from an airport to a train to get to me. So here I am, 2 kids. I called my mom. I'm like trying to hold back tears. I'm not getting in until like 1 a.m. I was supposed to get in at like noon that day. Like I had taken off from Waco at 5:10 that morning and landed in Dallas and was just pushed back and running from terminal to terminal with 2 kids. And I was still breastfeeding at that point.
So when you
to-
finally did get on the plane, everybody on the plane was looking at you like, please don't sit by me. Please
Yo,
don't sit by me.
100%.
2 kids, one's an infant. Please don't sit by me.
Oh no, there was a lady who sat. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, but so I called my mom. My mom had to call friends to get clothes for the kids. James was in like little girl pajamas, and I had to wear my mom's clothes because like I didn't have clothes to wear until like later the next day. I mean, they did get it to me the next day, but my mom called. My mom is like 10 times more powerful than I am by far, and so my mom called and like bitched out the airline, and basically my bag was delivered to my parents' door like with a door knock and an apology.
Oh my goodness. Your mom, she looks like she'd be like so sweet and meek and mild, and she's a
0%
powerhouse.
chance.
She's like the lady on Red, that
Mhm.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was a
Yeah.
hitman or something.
Yeah. 0% chance, my mom. If you like, first of all, you not only mess with me, but you mess with her grandchildren. So
Yeah, it's all downhill for you.
yeah, you have failed at life, friend.
Jeez.